Welcome to the WayneBreezie channel, host of the WayneBreezie Show. I'm here to deliver to you great NFL content. You see the team, hit that sub button and tune in. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the WayneBreezie from the WayneBreezie Show, Nitty Gritty Niners, all those cool shows you guys like out there that you support and have been supporting. Welcome to the All 32 Team Mock Draft. That's right, the All 32 Team Mock Draft. I'm excited because, you know, this is we about to get down to the nitty gritty. This is our second official mock draft for all 32 teams. Shout out to everybody that watched that first one. That was really cool, really solid. All the different fan bases out there, appreciate you. Read some of your comments. Definitely will take that into consideration. Definitely going to look to try to move around in this draft for some trades or whatnot. Maybe some teams might trade up, like the San Francisco 49ers. I believe, you know, that being my team, they may trade up to look to get an impact player or whatnot. But you know what? Let's go ahead and let's have some fun with this one. This is our second version. All right. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, man. And listen, if you want to support the stream, go ahead and join that Breezy Bunch crew, man. All cool perks. It gets you some good things, all right? So make sure you go ahead and do that. And you can check out residency.com. Use that promo code SFBreezy. You can save on your total purchase. You can see my residency caps chilling in the safes back there in those cool hat containers, all right? So make sure you guys go ahead and support me over at Residency, all right? We're going to be using the Pro Football Network's joint for the all 32 teams. I just kind of like how it kind of like simulates a little bit differently than PFF. No slight to PFF. I like PFF, but I kind of like their pooling a little bit better here. Now, but all the simulators are probably updating right now. You got teams hiring their head coaches, getting their offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, all that stuff is starting to take place. All right, so we're going to go ahead and enter this joint. We're on the clock with the Tennessee Titans. Last time I picked quarterback, look, the first three teams need quarterbacks. It is what it is. They need quarterbacks. I don't know what Cleveland Browns are planning to do with the Deshaun Watson situation. I don't know if there's going to be teams that's willing to trade up. I feel like now that we know who's going to be coaching, at least the Bears, Ben Johnson's going to be coaching the Bears. So what are they going to be looking to do? They picked 10. All right, what are they going to be looking to do in this draft? They got their quarterback in Caleb Williams, so they're pretty much locked in. And so it comes down to those first three teams, you know. And, you know, I really feel like Tennessee has to go quarterback here, and they would be silly if they didn't. My number one quarterback overall, and if you guys want to subscribe to my Patreon, where I kind of break down all my prospects, go to patreon.com /the WayneBreezie, and you can check out all of my top 10 prospects for every position. But my number one quarterback is going to be Cam Ward, and I think he's going to go first to the Tennessee Titans. It's clear present day that they need, you know what I'm saying, the actual quarterback. You know what I mean? And let me know what you think in the comment section. If you like my picks, disagree, you could thumbs up it, thumbs down it, however you feel, right? So now we're on the clock for the Cleveland Browns, and this is where it could get tricky, right? Because I look at the Cleveland Browns and I say, I know they need a quarterback, but will they, free agency, will they go back with the Jameis Winston? Possible. They still got Watson under contract, even though he's not, probably 9 times out of 10 not going to play this year. Could we shake things up a little bit? Could they possibly not go quarterback here? And I think it might be a little different. Like, they may go corner, right? I know they got Denzel Ward, but they may go corner. They may go with a guy that can be the best player in the draft. And if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I may not go quarterback here. I might not be sold on any of the quarterbacks right now. You know what I mean? Shedeur Sanders is there. Deion doesn't want his son playing in Cleveland. Okay, cool, no problem. So if I'm actually, you know what I'm saying, the Cleveland Browns, and there's a team looking to trade up, I may trade up. I mean, I may trade back. You know, I may trade back. You know, trade down in the draft if somebody's looking to come up and get a quarterback. So they're playing with a little bit of house money. But let's say there's no trades right now. Cleveland Browns, how would you feel about drafting the best damn player in the draft? How would you feel about that? And I think it's a no-brainer. You go Travis Hunter here. You get the best player overall in the draft. I mean, what can't he do other than play quarterback? You could use him as a wide receiver if you see that's where he's strong, or you can use him as a DB where he can play safety. He can play corner. He reminds me of what Charles Woodson used to be like. You guys remember my good old friend Chuck? Charles Woodson, man. He kind of gives me that vibe when I think about Travis Hunter. So I'm gonna go with Travis Hunter with the Cleveland Browns with that second pick, man. And I hope the dog pound isn't too mad at your boy Breezie for that, I just hope that they're not. Now, we are in pick number 3 on the clock. The New York Football Giants are on the clock. Now, the New York Football Giants, they need a quarterback, okay? They have Tommy DeVito, I think is he restricted free agent or earned restricted free agent? Either way, they own his rights. Other than that, all their other quarterbacks are free agents. And I can see them going quarterback here. They need an offensive line. They need a DB. But I really do feel like Shedeur Sanders would fit well in that type of stuff. Because you got to look at what the NFC East, I mean, you look at their quarterbacks, right? You got Jalen Hurts, you got Jaden Daniels, and you got Dak Prescott. And what do all three of those quarterbacks have in common? Athleticism, mobility. They allow plays to be extended. Shedeur Sanders can do that. And with Shedeur Sanders being available, I can see the New York Football Giants with the 3rd pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, if he's there, select Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado. And I think that's a good pick for them. In my opinion, I think that's a really solid freaking pick. Now, this is why the draft is going to be interesting. I haven't done any trades. And I promise as we get deeper into the mock draft season, I will go ahead and indulge into some of the trades and things like that. But let's just go straight down. It's only one round. All right. And let's see. We got the New England Patriots on the clock. Now, the Patriots, new coach, Mike Vrabel, defensive guy, know what Mike likes to do. Listening to some of the Patriot fans from Patriot Nation, in my comment section, they want offensive line here. They love their quarterback. And that let me know how much you love Drake May. If you're gonna pass up on some of the top tier talent, I'm looking at Abdul Carter, I'm looking at Mason Graham. Like, those are the 2 picks you go with, best player available. Mikael Williams out on the edge. You're going to need some help there as well. Those are the 2 picks. I mean, you can go Malachi Starks, because I don't know the status of Jabril Peppers, and he was kind of unavailable for you guys. But when he was on the field, he was dynamic, so you can go look that route. I don't feel like you guys need corners. I feel like you got Christian Gonzalez, and the cornerback game is pretty much wrapped up. So let's go offensive line. And I think they take Kelvin Banks Jr., man. I think he's the best offensive lineman in this draft. I feel like they got to get better up front. You want to draft left tackle high. You get him. I understand he's ranked 14th. I don't really care for the New England Patriots. I feel like the Patriots on the clock. They go with the best tackle overall in this draft. Kid doesn't give up a lot of pressures. He didn't give up any one sack, I believe, all season long. He's just a really overall based good left tackle. I think the only slight issue with him is going to be his height, but I don't think that's going to play a big difference, a big downgrade to his game. You'll see him play. Did he struggle a little bit against Ohio State? Maybe just a little bit. I think they really got beat up on the other side with Cameron Williams out there, and I thought he held his own. I do, but Kelvin Banks is the pick for the New England Patriots. Guys, let me know what you feel about that pick, all right, in the draft. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you're watching, man. Please do so. You know what it does for the show. Also, man, if you're new, first time watching, hit that sub button. Right, hit that sub button. Listen, I know I'm a faithful to heart, but I love football, so I'm gonna be doing more football content here on the channel as well for all fans out there, and we can have some fun and some cool banter going back and forth all off season and season long. So let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so on the clock, you got fifth pick, Jacksonville Jaguars. They're still in search of their new head coach. I already know that their new head coach is going to be Robert Saleh. So with Robert Saleh being their head coach, I already know who and what this pick is going to be. All right. Now, he's going to be scheduled. He's scheduled for a second interview. As of today, he's scheduled for a second interview. Now, as far as their team needs, look, they need offensive line. Okay. They could use a center, guard, interior defense. I know Eric Armstead is there. But, I mean, they might work that position. They can use another corner. I think they're pretty much set on the edge. And unfortunately, to all 49er fans out there watching, I think this is where Trent Baalke snubs the 49ers. And this is why the Niners are going to have to probably trade up in front of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting defensive tackle out of Michigan, Mason Graham. They get the interior showed up. They still got the outside edge guys. I think they're going to be pretty straight outside there on the edge, but I think they definitely get it locked in on the interior and have a nice young fella that can rush the passer, stop the run. What do they like to do? They'll have a monster. He's 6'3", 320. Mason Graham is going to be a beast. You get what I'm saying? Going to be a beast for the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, we're on the clock. The Las Vegas Raiders on the clock. Now, I really feel like the Raiders need a quarterback, and I know Raider fans don't be mad. You need quarterback. You need a wide receiver. Raider fans, Raiders Nation, I know you feel like I'm a hater, and that's okay. I understand. But I'm going to need you to trust me on this one. All right? Raider Nation, I'm going to need you to trust me on this one. I'm going to need y'all to really pay attention to these quarterbacks, especially playing in the Senior Bowl. Mainly the Senior Bowl. And then pay attention to the quarterbacks at the Combine for sure. Now, looking at the Raiders, they need a run. They can stand to run the ball better. I don't know what's going on with their whole offense. It's just not really good. You guys do have a new special teams coordinator no, you don't. My apologies. Don't know what I was going with that. But you guys got to figure out what you're going to be doing as far as who's going to be running the ship there. Now, I feel like defensively, you guys are pretty stacked. I think you got a plethora of wide receivers. I would love for you guys to draft Teotero McMillan, who I feel like other than Travis, you know what I'm saying? He's probably the most solid wide receiver you're going to get. Good catch radius, could get down the field, great hands, not a lot of drops. I feel like that'd be a good guy, but you don't have anybody throwing to him. So I just feel like these wide receivers are going to get pushed back unless there's teams that have specific QBs, like, you know what I mean, quarterbacks. So I'm going to reach for this pick, and I know nobody's going to like it. And I need you to trust me. Raiders Nation, I need you to trust me. Now, I'm going to look at some quarterbacks here, and I know Jalen Monroe is there, and I know it sounds like it's a reach, but quarterbacks are the players most teams are going to reach for. They're not going to sit back and wait. They're going to grab their guy. Two prospects, Jalen Monroe out of Alabama or Jackson Dart. I think the Raiders need some consistency based off of efficiency. I think they need a quarterback that 6'2", 225. They need a guy that can get in there, can move the ball. And I think I really love Jackson Dart in Vegas. I think he'll give y'all the best chance of getting your offense into a rhythm. And I know it's a reach, but Raiders, I think you guys are going to select quarterback Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. You will thank me later once you start to see his film and his work ethic and all that type of stuff start to come out. I'll do a better job at showing you guys. You can subscribe to my Patreon if you choose. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. He's actually my number 2 quarterback overall in this draft. It's Cam Ward, then Jackson Dart, and then I go Shador Sanders, Jalen Monroe, and so forth and so forth. But it's a kid that you're not going to want to miss out on, man. I really think that'd be a great pick for the Las Vegas Raiders. We're on the clock with the New York Football Jets. The New York Football Jets. Look, I don't know who's coaching them. I don't know like what's going on with the Jets, but they too need a quarterback. I don't think the Jets reach for a quarterback right here. I think they try to figure out what they can do to help boost up the defensive front, the secondary, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It truly is. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, I think the Jets are going to go. I love the prospects you got on the defensive side. I feel like the interior is good. You can match somebody up with Quentin Williams. That'd be great. I like your edge guys. Linebackers are solid. I feel like your secondary is good. You could always go with another secondary player, in my opinion. So let's look at the corners and see who's available defensively. Again, I'm not looking. I don't want people to feel like I'm trying to like save players. You know what I mean? Because it's not what I'm doing. I'm really trying to see the fit. Can you imagine Will Johnson and Sauce Gardner as the outside guys? I can't. I don't want to. You got 2 lockdown corners, in my opinion. I know Will doesn't have a lot of film because he didn't play a lot of games due to injuries and things like that. I think a lot of that stuff was like business decisions. I'm just going to keep it a buck. But every time he was on the field, he made his defense better. And he had 2 pick sixes last year. So I'm going to go on the limb and say that the New York Football Jets draft cornerback Will Johnson out of Michigan. So, you guys know I'm a Michigan fan. So both of my high draft pick Michigan players are off the board. Graham is gone. Will Johnson is gone. I need a quick second, yo. I need a quick second. I didn't think they were going to last to 11. I didn't. But man, I was hoping. Like, you know what I mean? I could hope. Right? I can hope. All right, back to the draft. All right, here we go, man. Dang. Yeah. Interesting. So let's go to the Carolina Panthers. And you know what, man? When I think of Carolina Panthers, I always think of them building their defense. I do. And I know he fell. Okay, and it's okay. It's okay that he fell. Like, it's okay. I feel he's probably the best edge rusher in the draft. And it's okay. It's okay that he fell, They were either going to go secondary, they were going to probably go defensive line with their first pick, and I see the best damn edge rusher right there in Abdul Carter, and I feel like it's the perfect fit because there's no more Brian Burns. He's with the Giants. So how cool would it be for Carolina, right, to draft Abdul Carter, edge rusher, out of Penn State? I think it would be pretty dang solid, in my opinion. I truly do. I truly think it'll be pretty dang solid, in my opinion. All right, man, look, we're on the clock with the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints. Saints have several needs, right? And I feel like they got to rebuild the defense, right? They can go tight end, which I think would be phenomenal. I think that would be a curveball to the game. They could go wide receiver. They don't really know what the status of Chris Olave is going to be moving forward. They could be looking to get another guy in there. But I feel like, look, you got Alvin Kamara. You got to figure out how to, his years are wearing thin. Not saying you need to draft a running back in the first round. But how crazy if they would have drafted Austin Jonte in round 1 with Alvin Kamara still there. Oh, man, that would be a slap in Kamara's face. But, hey, this is football. It's strictly business. But I really think that the Saints, even though I feel like they want to go receiver, if I'm the Saints, they draft players that are like different, right? Like they draft players that are different. And what do I mean? Like I look at, some of the guys that they have on their squad already, and they just draft players that are different. I think a tight end here, and let me go to tight ends. I think Tyler Warren would be a masterpiece for the New Orleans Saints. I don't know how the Saints feel about that. I don't know if they like drafting the tight end, but trust me, this is not your ordinary tight end. You're going to get the best blocking tight end, the best receiving tight end. Yeah, he didn't have the most yards, but he's just overall the better guy. And I'm going to go with my man Tyler Warren out of Penn State. A lot of Big Ten guys. A lot of Big Ten guys going. You know what I mean? And I think it'll be a good pick for them. I know you didn't get the wide receiver that you probably have been mocked 150,000 times, and Teteroa McMillan, excuse me. But you got a really good. I think you got a really solid guy. I do. Now, Ben Johnson, again, the Bears are on the clock. Ben Johnson is now the coach. Dennis Allen is reporting to be joining him to be the defensive coordinator, which means I know if they're going to be defensive guys, I already know where they're going with this pick. The Bears need edge. And so Mykel Williams is sitting right there staring at me on the board, and I'm just looking at Mykel Williams, and I'm saying, like, that would be a pretty damn good piece for the Chicago Bears, and they'll be getting back to the Bears defense, right? Like that ferocious D, outside, edge rush, inside, interior, decent secondary. Bears can use a running back. I feel like with Ben Johnson, they're going to need another running back. Obviously, they can use a center, an offensive lineman, guard, center, whatever. They can get that in the second, third, fourth round. But right now, you get your premium pieces, baby. If you're a Chicago Bear, I want you to let me know how you feel about Mykel Williams off the edge. I think that's a good pick, man. It was either him, James Pierce, or Nick Scourton. Scourton, I think that's how you say his name. Either way, you guys were getting the edge. San Francisco 49ers are on the clock. And with them being on the clock, this is a tough position for them to pick at 11 because, a lot of those top tier day one guys that you felt like could come in from day one are gone, right? I think your Mason Graham, your Abdul Carters, those guys. But listen, there's so many players for the San Francisco 49ers. There's so many players left in this pool that I feel like can add to the 49ers. And look, I'm going to look at the offensive tackles, okay? I am. I'm going to look at them. And I know everybody wants Will Campbell because that's the story going on. He hasn't given up any sacks off of 300 and something snaps. Understood. Dude, I get it. Not my favorite, though. I think he's pretty solid in the run game and needs help. Even though he hasn't given up sacks, he's given up pressure. So I want people to understand that in the pass pro. So I like him. But I feel like there's going to be some guys that the Niners could look in the second round, a third round as well. And I know they might not be first round guys, but remember, the Niners look for specific players that are fits. You got to look at who's available. Now, don't think that the Niners would draft a running back in the first round. Hell, they drafted a wide receiver last year in the first round, and so whatever. But I don't think they'll draft Ashton Jeanty in the first round. I just don't feel like that is their mindset. Could be. I don't feel like it is. But I see McMillan available, man. We call him T-Mac, baby. Like if you can't say his name, we just call him T-Mac. And the Niners could use a big body wide receiver. I know we got Juwan Jennings. I get it. I feel like that's the comp, right? That's the size, hands. He's probably a little faster than Juwan Jennings. But again, I'm not sold on him or drafting another wide receiver in the first round. It's got to be defense for me. It's got to be up front. I really wanted an interior guy. Love Derek Harmon from Oregon. Feel like it's a reach. We could trade back possibly to get him. You got to see what the rest of the teams do. Tyleik Williams from Ohio State. You'll get to watch him in the championship game. Walter Nolan is my number 2. Is there a possible? I talked about Kenneth Grant earlier. Bigger defensive tackle in the middle. Kind of reminds me of that big D tackle from Texas last year that tore up the Senior Bowl. That was just a phenomenal guy, right? I think he got drafted to the Tennessee Titans. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Kenneth Grant could be available. Deion Walker, another big nose, big guy up front. You want to stop the run? Those are your big run stuffers, right? Still feel like you could wait possibly to the second round to get those guys. So let's go edge. Let's go James Pierce. I know people like Nick Skylerton. I get it. James Pierce is the motor guy. Like, this is the guy. Now, I know, look, Mike Green is there. I get he led the nation in sacks. Understood. But I need this guy, 6'5", 242, top 5 edge rush prospect, 17 and a half sacks over 2 seasons, elite athleticism. That's all I needed to see. All I needed to see was elite athleticism. He sold me at the athleticism. Now, if I look up Scoreton, they're going to have some stuff. At least Nick Bosa's height, right? A little heavier than Nick Bosa, right? A little heavier. He's going to be a power guy. But I feel like that's where he's going to lack. He's going to lack with the athleticism, lack with the, the other things that make you good edge rusher. And then so that he's going to fit well with the team. But I think the perfect fit. You remember D Ford? Remember that guy? And I know James Pierce is only 242. He's more like an outside linebacking type of guy. But listen, this kid can be a problem. You trying to get to the quarterback? Listen, I think the Niners need to start switching up these players, right? You got your Nick Bosa on one side. Get me the fast guy on the opposite side. I've been looking for the D4 guy since we traded for D4 and he didn't work out. The pick is in. I talk too much. James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee is the pick for the Niners. Now, you go back on the board, man. Look, the Dallas Cowboys, they don't have a head coach as of right now. It sounds like it's going to be Kellen Mond, which means I feel like they're going to go offense. They got to get a running back in there. They got guys that can play running back. No shout out to Dido, whatever his name is. But they need a guy. And I think it's going to be Austin Genty. I'm not going to sit here and waste any time. I know Cowboy fans probably don't want to see them mocking running backs every single time, but listen, get this kid. You will be good to go. I promise you. Looking at the Miami Dolphins, they have several needs as well. The Dolphins can use offensive linemen. They can use defensive linemen. They kind of built like the Niners. They can also use a safety. And I see Malachi Starks there from Georgia, and I feel like it's a no-brainer. I think the Dolphin fans are going to like Malachi Starks. You want a guy that's just going to be a ball hawk. That's what it is. 6 interceptions in 3 seasons. Ball hawk. He's probably my number 2 to Watts from Notre Dame. So you want a really good guy out there that can roam the center of the field. This is the guy. If you're looking for a safety, it's going to be Malachi Starks to the Miami Dolphins. On the clock, Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts on the clock. They made some coaching changes as well. I think they got a new defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be Lou Anarumo. Lou Anarumo, former coordinator from the Bengals, is going to be going to the Colts. Now, the Colts, with a new defensive coordinator, I feel like they need defense, right? Like, right now, a lot of people had them mocking the tight end. They can also use a tight end. They can use an edge rusher, and they can use a DB. If they go best player available here, this would be may be what's best. But I do like Nick Skylerton there. Siobhan Revel is there as well. All right, if they are looking for that. But the tight end, they have players. But, man, if they need to give their quarterback, Anthony Richardson, some help, getting him a legit check-down guy, whoever their quarterback is going to be moving forward, I feel like Colston Loveland is the pick for them. 2 tight ends. I have 2 tight ends going in the first round. I think the Colts, if they don't get Tyler Warren, I feel like me drafting Tyler Warren to the Saints was a curveball. Felt like that was going to be the Colts pick. But for Colston Loveland, I think they go with their number 2. He's going to be the pick for the Indianapolis Colts. And I know Colts, they're going to be mad at me. All right, cool. All right, so we almost halfway through the draft. We're on the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, man. They made some changes, man. They got some changes coming up. All right. Wide receiver, edge rusher, linebacker. They got a lot of free agents, man. All them guys they signed free. This is where Skylerton comes in, baby. And I feel like this is where he's going to fit. They get another explosive guy. They're going to be losing a lot of their guys to free agency. Let's just keep it a buck. They signed those guys 1-year deals, thought they were going to be able to run it up. They had the quarterback, blah, 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 whatever. You don't go wide receiver here. You don't even need to go offense. You need to figure out how to rebuild that defense. Keep the scores low. Nick Scourton from edge rusher from Texas A&M, the big 6'4", 280-pound guy. I feel like will fit right in with that Atlanta defense. He can help anchor that defense, and he's explosive out there on the edge. Doesn't have the same athleticism, but I think he'll be a huge factor for their defense. And it's going to be Nick Scorton. Man, I hate drafting for NFC West teams, but hey, this is what I'm here for. So if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button for sure. All right, let's go Cardinals. And with the Cardinals, I thought they played pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I understand that them and the 49ers at the bottom of the NFC West, but I like what I saw from the Cardinals. I feel like they need some offensive line help. I feel like I know they got Paris Johnson a couple years ago, but he stays injured. And I think that's where they go. I think they go offensive line here regardless of who's available, and they're going to take the best tackle that's available. I see Will Campbell on the board, and that would be a solid piece for Kyler Murray and that offensive front, man. That'd be a solid piece. They go tackle Will Campbell right here, man. Let me know what you think, Cardinals fans. Cincinnati Bengals. Last time I did this mock draft, Colston Loveland went to Cincinnati's, right? So both tight ends are off the board. And, with T. Higgins being a free agent, I think this is where T-Mac comes into the game. So how do you replace T. Higgins? Easily. In this draft, you draft T-Mac. If you don't know about T-Mac, man, Mr. McMillan out of Arizona, I'm going to need y'all to definitely, request some more information or do your homework, right? Listen, perfect replacement for Joe Burrow. If you're not gonna, you don't have to pay T. Higgins now because you could just go get a T-Mac. Let me know what you guys think out there, Cincinnati Bengal fans. All right, Seattle Seahawks, man. Oh my gosh, one more team in the NFC West, and I don't have to draft for them anymore. Yes. All right, Seattle Seahawks are on the clock. All right, now the Seahawks, man, they always are building in the trenches. Love their head coach, Michigan guy. Anyway, I feel like they're gonna go defense here. I feel like they definitely need offensive line, but defense, linebackers, they're gonna be losing some linebackers. Look, they got some free agents that are coming up. I don't feel like they're gonna bring some of these guys back due to the market and how they hit. Let's go look. I think Jalon Walker will be a good pick for them. I said linebacker. Let's look at some of the other linebackers that may be available. It's Walker. They got to go Walker here, right? They got to go with a guy that's good out there on the edge as well. 6'2", 245, man. Damn. If they get him, whew. Look, love the pick. Seattle, if you're watching this, love y'all pick. This would be a great pick for you guys. Not going to sit here and beat around the bush. Jalon Walker from Georgia, linebacker to the Seattle freaking Seahawks. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock, and the clock is ticking. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers need edge rusher, linebacker, Levante David, free agent. A lot of their defensive players, free agent. DBs, free agent. So these are some of the positions that they can look to fill in this draft. We got to look what's best available. I said that they need a corner. I feel like Siobhan Revel is there. I feel like this is where they're going to go. Definitely got to sew up that cornerback game. Jamal Dean can't stay healthy. They can get another guy that can come in here and compete for a spot as a rookie and build with him for the next 5 years. Siobhan Revel out of East Carolina is going to be the pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Denver Broncos are on the clock, man, and I like what Bo Nix did this year. I feel like he needs another star receiver. I do. And Luther Burden III is staring me right in the face. And he's probably people's number one wide receiver coming out in this draft over T-Mac. T-Mac has the size and stuff like that. But I like Burden because Burden can line up outside and inside. You know what I mean? And you can get the best of both worlds. Now, I know they got Cortland Sutton and but then after that, it's kind of like a big drop. It's kind of like a big drop. I mean, Mims is there, but still a big drop, man. They had a couple of players that had some standout games, but they weren't consistent. And what Luther Burden reminds me of? Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I feel like that is the vibe he's going to give off. If you're a Denver Broncos fan I don't know if you're going to be mad if you draft a wide receiver here. I understand you need a wide receiver, you need a tight end, right? Linebacker and safety, cool. But if the best wide receiver is staring at you in the face on this board, you got to go wide freaking receiver. Denver Broncos select Luther Burden III out of Missouri. Mizzou. Oh, man. Listen, we moving along, man. Guys, look, man. Look at me in my eyes one time, all right? Just one time, just look at my eyes, right? So, listen, hit that like button. Sub to the channel. And become a member of the Breezie Bunch crew. All right, let's get back to this draft. Here we go, man. We got a few picks left. We're at pick 21 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I don't even know who's their quarterback next year. Because if I'm not mistaken, Justin Fields going to be a free agent. I don't know what's going on with Russell Wilson in the situation or whatever, but they need a quarterback. Wide receiver, DB. Now, I like Pickens. I really do. Would they draft another wide? I don't know what their quarterback situation is going to be. That's what kind of concerns me here. Like, what is their quarterback situation? Because if they know what their quarterback is going to be, then they got to get Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. They'll get one of the best, like, inside, outside, or outside, inside. I feel like I like him better in the slot, but you guys know what the kid from Seattle does. Off the top of my head, I can't think of his name, but their wide receiver, he's a beast. He might be small, but inside slot, he's a killer. That is where I feel like the Steelers can go. I think their running back is going to be a free agent, but they might go a different route. I don't think there's any more. Maybe I got one more first round rate running back, like an Amarion Hampton. But I like Emeka. I feel like he will be a perfect fit. And I know it seems like I'm just going down the spot. Trust me, I'm not. If you know that, I'm not. But if the Steelers need a wide receiver, I feel like that would be a good position, a good place for him to go. I'm going to go wide receiver Emeka Egbuka out of the Ohio State. Just watch him tonight. Just watch him in the big game. Watch him in the championship game for sure. The Los Angeles, I always want to say San Diego, they're on the clock. The Chargers, Jim Harbaugh. What does Jim Harbaugh like to do? He likes to run the ball. Like him and Greg Roman, they love to run the ball. And I know they had J.K. Dobbins. He'd be a free agent. And I feel like they need a running back, but I don't think they're going to be able to draft a running back here. And they definitely need a better wide receiver. They need more wide receivers. I don't know what they're going to do about their corners out there. I think they need another corner as well. Benjamin Morrison is available. I know they're not going to reach. Do they go nickel corner here? Do they go? It's a tough game. I feel like Benjamin Morrison is the pick for them. And to lock down that cornerback spot out there. They already got the safeties. They already got one side. You get this rookie Benjamin Morrison in here. I think that'd be a good pick, actually, for them out there. Notre Dame fans, let me know what you guys think, man. Charger fans, let me know what you guys think about Benjamin Morrison. All right, Green Bay Packers are on the clock. They're going to be losing some guys too to free agency. Not sure Jair Alexander wants to be back, but this is the team. Christian Watson, his injury, he's going to be out for a while. I feel like they got a lot of receivers. I don't feel like they need to draft a receiver in the first round, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. They could go corner here. Let's just see what other cornerbacks are available. Trey Amos, Maxwell Hairston, Darian Porter from Iowa State. I don't know why he's ranked so low here. I actually like Darian Porter. That might be a good pick. You know what I mean? That actually may be a good pick for them. But let me check the edge rushers. I don't want to overlook. Oh, man. Why does Mike Green fit with the green? I'm going Mike Green here. I'm sorry. They're going to draft Mike Green. Number 1 sack leader in the nation. Woo! Can you imagine that edge rushing class? And then they got the best linebacker last year, Adrian Cooper. So, like, that front, that four, oh, my gosh, it's going to be crazy. Mike Green to the Green Bay Packers. What am I doing here? I feel like I didn't do that well for my team. Anyway, Green Bay Packers, that's a solid pick. Next on the clock, we got the Minnesota Vikings, all right? Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. And the Vikings, man, like, their quarterback for the future obviously is J.J. McCarthy. Aaron Jones is going to be a free agent. They're going to need a running back. So is Cam Akers. So both of their running backs free agents. I'm going to check and see which running backs are available. They may go running back here. And I know people aren't going to like it. Listen, it depends on what style of running back you want. Now, if they're trying to replace Aaron Jones, Travion Henderson is the guy. If they're looking to get an all 3-down running back, Amarion Hampton is the bruiser. He can score in the red zone. I just feel like they need to change their tone up there up front, you know. And I know people don't want us to. They don't want them to draft a running back. I get it. You got to go offensive line. If you're going to go offensive line, I mean, I'm looking at Amarion Hampton, but then Tyler Booker is there. They could use a guard. And I know it's not a sexy pick, but your offensive line is the reason, in my opinion, why the Vikings didn't persevere, why they didn't make it forward. That they couldn't do enough. They were beat up. They were injured. Tyler Booker out of Alabama, though, seems like it'll be a perfect fit. They'll get really beefy, really mean up front, and they can get a running back in the second round. So let's not waste the pick on the running back in the first round. Let's get the security for the running back so that we can A, protect our QB, and B, be mean up front. Tyler Booker is the pick. Houston Texans fell short as well. And you look at the Houston Texans, you're like, man, what do they need? I feel like they need a safety. I feel like they need a nickel safety that they can rely on. I mean, both of those guys got injured. Petra and Jimmy Ward, unfortunately. But I feel like they could use help in the secondary. I really do. But you're going to get Petra back as well. Wide receiver would be a good spot. I mean, it's Nico Collins, and then who else? You saw he needed help at the wide receiver position. You saw Xavier Hutchinson not be able to do. You saw Mechie not be able to do. Will the Houston Texans, I don't feel like that's D'Amico Ryan's MO. I feel like it's going to be defensive line. And I'm going to look defensive line. I think they get Derek Harmon out of Oregon. I truly do. I think he's the pick. He slotted to go 24th. And I feel like that is what D'Amico Ryans is going to do. Derek Harmon out of Oregon, one of my favorite defensive tackles. I think he's my number 3. I think he's my number 3. It's Mason Graham. It's Mason Graham off the top of my head. Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, Kenneth Grant. Like those are guys in my top 3 or 4. So that'd be a good pick for them as well. All right, so next on the clock, we got the Los Angeles Rams. Rams. So Rams fell short too, man. Look, tight end, they could use tight end, tackle, linebacker. Offensive line, I feel like is where they have to go. I feel like this is where they have to go. And so I'm gonna need the Rams. I'm gonna need Rams Nation, whatever you call yourselves. I'm gonna need y'all to trust me here. I've been the one doing my scouting. And I'm not going to just give you somebody that I feel like, I don't care where they're ranked here. None of that matters to me. All right. Now, if you're looking to go tackle, I want you to go tackle with size and production. And I want to see every team get better. So Cameron Williams, in my opinion, isn't ready for the NFL. I feel like he's a big, strong kid, but needs lots of work. Josh Simmons is coming off the injury. I don't feel like that's the Rams' MO. Don't think they go that route. I don't think they go with the guy coming off of an injury with the high ceiling. I think he falls, be honest. Jonah Savaiinaea is a good pick. This is a big kid out of Arizona. 6'5", 330. And you're talking about replacing. I like him. I like Ariante Ursary that you see up there from Minnesota. All right. So if they go tackle, I think those first 2 guys that I mentioned, they drop. I think they get the big kid from Arizona. This is a solid pick. I know it's boring, Rams house, whatever your name is, but trust me. You just got to trust me on this one. I'm not an expert, but I've been doing this for the past several years. Just trust me on this one. Baltimore Ravens. I look at the Ravens who fell short in these playoffs, and I say, what are they missing? And I get it. Their tight end dropped the pass, fumbled the ball. Totally get it. Don't think they need a tight end, though. I like Isaiah Likely. I like Mark Andrews. He will be back. Wide receiver, they need help at the wide receiving position. They can use offensive line. I thought their offensive line played pretty damn decent, but they need help at the wide receiving position. They also can stand and get some more help defensively, but wide receivers, where can they be better? I love Zay Flowers, little guy, but what if they're able to move the ball and work the slot a little bit better? And the best slot receiver on this board is Xavier Restrepo out of Miami. But hands down, kid gets open on every play. Great hands, great production, great move, great yak. I know he's tiny. They like tiny guys. I feel like I'm comping this right? Am I wrong? Even Zay Flowers is tiny. Rashad Bateman, tiny. They don't go for the big body wide receivers down there in Baltimore. I feel like Restrepo is going to be a guy that will give and help, with sure hands, move the chains. Now, I know it says he's much more than a slot, but if you want to know where he dominated, look, Rams, I'm going to need y'all to trust me again. I like this kid for you. Restrepo, I know he's projected to go a little later, but you don't wait, man. The thing about drafting is you go after your guy. You know what I mean? You go after your guy. You don't wait around. You go after your guy for sure. All right. Now, I got a few more picks left. You can see we getting down to the end. They made their amends. They made their changes, right? And so it's set by record. Lions were the next team. They had the better record, but they're out. They didn't make it as far. So, boom, they got dropped down a little bit. So the Lions are on the clock. They need edge, corner, defensive tackle, wide receiver, safety. That's what it says. That's some of the things that they need. And I look at the team's defense, and I was like, man, they was trash. They were terrible. Terrion Arnold, I think, is going to be good, but he made some bonehead plays. He made some good plays, made some bonehead plays. But if their defense was a little bit better, and I understand that they were missing Aiden Hutchinson, but he can't be the end-all, be-all. I think they get better up front. I like Tyleik Williams from Ohio State or Walter Nolan. I know it says they need edge and they need a defensive tech, but I just feel like those two big guys, I think they need the big guy, And I like both of these kids. 6'3", 327. Just the height alone gives him that little bit of a leverage to get up underneath. Kind of reminds you of Aaron Donald. Not saying he's as dangerous with his hands, but I definitely like Tyleik Williams. My favorite out of the two, though, is Walter Nolan. He's a little taller, 6'4", 290. I think this is Walter Nolan or Tyleik Williams. One of those two screams for me. Lions. Just trying to see where they go. Jahdae Barron, too. Cornerback, nickelback, could play nickel. Could be there as well. I think they go with Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. Let's give him Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. All right, man, we got 4 picks left. Some of these guys are going to be gone. Again, I think Cameron Williams drops. Josh Simmons is going to drop to the second round. And so for the Niners, if you need a tackle, if Josh Simmons is there and he's available, he'd be a great guy. I understand he doesn't have to come in, doesn't have to play year one, but you can get him to go year one if need be. He is returning off of the injury. Will not be playing tonight. I don't believe. Actually, he might be playing tonight. Maybe playing in the championship game, but we shall see. But again, that's why his production was low this year, and his grade was pretty much low. But Josh Simmons is going to be a good damn prospect in the NFL. All right, Washington Commanders are on the clock. Can I just give a round of applause to the Washington Commanders? First year coach, first year GM, first year quarterback, all rookies. Well, Dan Quinn is not a rookie at coaching, but first year there. But Adam Peters is a rookie as a GM, and their damn quarterback Jada Daniels is probably, oh my gosh, the best damn thing since sliced bread. So cornerback, wide receiver, tight end, linebacker, running back is what they're gonna need. They got some free agents that they're gonna have to figure out too, and that is key. That is key. Now, I really don't think they need wide. They need to figure out how to re-sign Dyami Brown from North Carolina. Bring him back. Find a way to bring him back. He is proven that he can play wide receiver. I think that's what they do. I don't think they got to spend a lot of money on him, but I think they will bring some of their guys back. All right. I don't think they need a tight end. They got Ben Sinnott over there last year from Kansas, and I think he's going to be just fine. So I don't think they really need a tight end. Linebacking can be a situation like if Bobby Wagner's a free agent, all right, and if you guys know you need to replace Bobby, if you're not going to pay Bobby, you got to find a way to replace him fast, or your defense will go. And so looking at the linebacking position, I see Jihad Campbell from Alabama. You want the Mike guy? Get the Mike guy. When I say Mike linebacker is what I'm talking about. I feel like he would be the perfect fit for the Commanders. He would fit that defense. He's a professional pro. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say that. 6'3", 244 is what they list him as. If Bobby Wagner isn't brought back due to free agency because of his age, even though he's playing at a high level, he's probably going to command some bread. I think you save money there, you draft the understudy, and you build on this kid. So the pick is in. It's going to be Jihad Campbell from Alabama. All right, on the clock, we got the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are on the clock. You can see that they need some secondary. I think this is where they go, right? They go secondary. I feel like their offensive line is pretty decent, even though it says that they need a tackle. But it's secondary for me, right? Like it's gotta be corners, it's gotta be the safety. I would like to see them get better at the nickelback spot, but be honest with you, if they're gonna go safety, because look, Taylor Rapp couldn't stay on the field. I love DeMar Hamlin, but they need a guy that can play center field. Nick Imanwori, I think that's how you say his name. It can be just that, right? And I think he would be a great fit for them, even though Xavier Watts kind of like screams to me, Buffalo Bills, right? Playmaking guy. I think they go Watts here. Let's go Watts here, man. Watts for the Buffalo Bills. And you Bills Mafia, you're going to love him. Trust me. You would love him. I'm not giving you guys like scraps or leftovers, right? Philadelphia Eagles, Vic Fangio, we know is the defensive coordinator there. They may be losing Mekhi Becton, so I think they're going to have to go offensive line here. You know what I mean? Whether they go guard, and Wyatt Milam, ooh, he's available. Whether they go tackle, which I feel like that's now for me. Why is it that I feel like Cameron Williams would be a player that the Philadelphia Eagles go for? I just do. And I know it says that they don't need a tackle here, but Mekhi Becton is a free agent. Free agent. All right, so here it is. This is what it is. 6'5", 335. Can you imagine this big motherfucker out there? In an offense where if you put him on the right side, okay, he's not protecting the blind side of the quarterback, but he still has to be able to pass pro, and I think he's strong enough to do just that. The question is, how well will he be in the outside zone run game? Why do I feel like this would be a good pick for the Eagles? Josh Simmons is another kid that I like. Josh Simmons, 6'5", 310. I feel like they're going to go with the big guy, 6'5", 311. It's tough. It's tough, but I really think they need to go tackle. I don't know if they're going to look to bring Mekhi Becton back, who will be a free agent. And if they don't have your right tackle, if you don't have your right tackle, then, I don't know what you're doing up front. I don't know how you're going to run the ball, how you're going to pass pro. So they got to go tackle here. I know it doesn't say that they need a tackle, but I don't think they realize that. And get a guy, man. Look, I think it's going to be Josh Simmons. I think they may take the reach on Josh Simmons. It's late in the first round. They can afford to do that. I still feel Cameron Williams is not a first round pick, right? So I'm not going to do y'all that way. Now, it doesn't mean if anybody takes Cameron Williams, it's going to be the Chiefs because that's what they do, right? And maybe that's what they do. All right, so Josh Simmons is going to be the pick for the Eagles, and the Chiefs are on the clock. And you can see what their needs are: defensive tackle, offensive guard, wide receiver, safety, tight end. All right, I don't really think they need another tight end. They still got Travis Kelce. They got his backup guy. I feel like they're good at the tight end spot. But the Chiefs are the most weird team. Like, they will draft a tight end, and you'll be like, dang. And if they're going to draft a tight end, it's going to be Harold Fannin Jr. Can you imagine the Chiefs getting... I don't have 3 tight ends going in the first round, so I'm not going to do this to the Chiefs. But I feel like that's what the Chiefs would do. I do. Now, they are going to be losing some key pieces to their defense as well in free agency. They're going to be losing linebackers. They're going to be losing their safety. So perhaps they do go Nick Imanwori. Like, that might be a really good pick. Hard-nosed hitting safety, kind of like him, fits there. I know they got Jahdae Barron playing safety. He's more of a nickelback, in my opinion. And I feel like they'll go that route too if they feel like they need to get a good nickelback guy. But I feel like Imanwori is there, and I feel like that's going to be the pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. So there it is, man. Let's kind of like recap, and then we kind of see like who did not go in the first round. I don't know what this is. Let's go full results. There we go. I'm like, what in the heavens of the hells is going on here? So I just want to download that. All right, so here we go, man. First pick, Cameron Ward went to the Tennessee Titans. Travis Hunter to the Browns. Shedeur Sanders to the Giants. Calvin Banks Jr. to the New England Patriots. Mason Graham to the Jaguars. Jackson Dart, that changed some stuff up, right? Went to the Raiders. That means they've been doing their homework. Will Johnson to the Jets. Abdul Carter to the Panthers. Tyler Warren, first tight end off the board, to the Saints. Michael Williams, all right, edge rusher to the Bears. James Pierce Jr. To the 49ers. Then you got, let's see, Ashton Jeanty to the Cowboys. Malachi Starks to the Dolphins. Safety over there. Colston Loveland, second tight end off the board, to the Colts. Nick Scarton to the Falcons. Will Campbell to the Cardinals. T-Mac to the Bengals. Jalon Walker to the Seahawks. Shavon Revel to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Luther Burden III to the Broncos. Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, to the Steelers. Benjamin Morrison, cornerback, to the Chargers. Mike Green, edge rusher, to the Green Bay Packers. Tyler Booker, offensive lineman, guard, from Alabama, to the Vikings. Derek Harmon to the Houston Texans. Jonah Savaianea to the Rams. Xavier Restrepo, wide receiver, to the Baltimore Ravens. Walter Nolan to the Detroit Lions. Jahai Campbell, linebacker, from Alabama, to the Commanders. Xavier Watts, number 1 leading safety in interceptions in college football this year, to the Buffalo Bills. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, to the Philadelphia Eagles. And Nick Imanwori, safety, to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me know what you guys think of my all 32. It's my second crack at it. I actually had fun doing this one. And I hope you guys are learning a little bit more about some of these players. If there's anything else you need from me, just feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys want to give as far as grade-wise. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see how you guys grade some of these picks from your team. All right, don't forget to hit that like button. Sub to me as well if you're new. Become a member of the Breezie Bunch crew to help support the channel. Check out my sponsors and partners over at residency.com. Use that promo code SFBreezie so you can save on your total purchase. All right, you guys have been real ones. Until the next time, until next week, you dig? We'll do this again. 3.0 underway. It's your boy WayneBreezie. Peace. Thank you all for your support here on the WayneBreezie channel. If you're new, make sure you click on that subscribe button. Don't forget to smash the like button and check out the other videos. Thanks for watching.